Does it ever feel like there's just uh, more to juggle as a modern parent?
Yeah.
That feeling, that sense of a totally loaded plate, that's really what we're diving into today.
Mm.
We're going to be looking closely at how motherhood today stacks up against, well, how things were for past generations.
Right.
And to help us unpack this, we've got a really thoughtful blog post from Jess Baumgardner. She shares her own experiences, navigating modern parenting.
That's a great starting point.
And alongside that, an article from MediAssist that delves into the challenges of balancing career, family, and, this is crucial, yourself.
Finding time for yourself, yeah.
Our aim isn't really to declare one era harder or anything like that.
No, it's not about judging.
Exactly. It's more about getting under the skin of the unique pressures facing mothers right now.
Hmm.
Hopefully by the end, you'll walk away with a clearer picture and maybe some useful perspectives too.
It's pretty striking how both of these pieces, even coming from slightly different angles, they immediately tap into this feeling of a fundamentally altered experience.
Yeah. Altered. Yeah.
What's fascinating here isn't just that the surface details have changed. I mean, that's kind of a given, right?
Sure.
But it's the underlying weight, the nature of the demands.
Okay.
So we're going to dig into how the sheer volume of choices, presented to modern mothers really impacts their experience day to day.
The choices, yeah.
And the real world shifts in support networks, the village as people call it.
Right, the village.
The undeniable role social media plays and that constant tightrope walk of trying to manage everything. It's really about understanding the forces at play.
Okay, let's start there then with something Jess Baumgardner really brings up. This almost overwhelming number of decisions that seem to have a spotlight on them now. She points out even something like maternity leave now carries this sort of unspoken question. So when are you heading back to work?
Right, even before you've maybe fully settled into being home.
Exactly. It suggests a real shift in societal expectations around a mother's role and her choices.
That's a really crucial observation. And if we think about the broader context, societally, I mean, this reflects big changes in economic structures, women's roles in the workforce.
Not just personal anymore.
No, exactly. It's often tangled up with financial realities, career paths, in ways that previous generations might not have experienced quite so intensely.
Yeah.
And, like Baumgardner notes, this scrutiny, this focus on choices, it definitely doesn't end with returning to work.
Oh, not at all. It feels like from the moment your child arrives, you're navigating this minefield of opinions.
Yeah.
Often well-intentioned, sometimes maybe not, but opinions on everything. Breastfeeding versus formula, baby-led, weaning.
Oh, yeah, the food wars.
Right. Or whether you're making all your baby food from scratch. You can feel like you need a PhD just to make these choices.
It really can. And that feeling, that pressure, it only seems to escalate as kids get older, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Think about the pressure around signing young kids up for activities.
Extracurriculars, yeah.
Baumgardner mentions feeling like an oddball out if your 3 or 4-year-old isn't in multiple classes already.
It's almost like this packed schedule has become some kind of signifier.
A signifier of what, though? Good parenting.
Maybe. Or maybe just keeping up. Parents worry, is my child missing out? Are they not keeping pace? And this connects straight to what the MediAssist article talks about, that constant balancing act.
Right, work and family.
Yeah, between work and family. Every choice a mother makes about allocating her time, her energy, it feels significant.
Yeah.
And potentially loaded with the risk of, getting it wrong.
Getting it wrong, yeah.
It's not just about doing things. It's about constantly evaluating if you're doing the right things.
And that relentless balancing act, it really shines a light on another key shift Baumgardner talks about.
Right.
The way our support systems, that traditional village, have changed.
The village, right. It's different now.
She describes how the pace of modern life seems to have just thinned out those connections. Neighbors are busy, maybe both parents are working. That kind of informal drop-in help or support that maybe was more common in the past, it just feels less available.
It often is. And even relying on family isn't always straightforward. People live further apart.
Or grandparents are still working themselves or have their own busy lives.
Exactly. This lines up perfectly with the MediAssist article identifying the, quote, need for a support system and the isolation that many modern mothers actually experience.
Isolation, yeah.
Historically, communities, families, they often provided a more readily accessible, more integrated network.
Like a built-in help.
Kind of. Extended families might have lived closer, neighborhood ties could have been stronger, offering more just organic opportunities for shared childcare, mutual aid,
Uh-huh.
the increased mobility of modern life, shifts in community structures.
Yeah.
It's undeniably altered that whole landscape.
So it feels like we're often operating with fewer safety nets readily available.
That's a good way to put it.
And then layered on top of that, there's the ever-present influence, the thing Baumgartner calls a huge culprit.
Yes. Social media.
So social media.
This is where we see a really, really potent force at play. Because social media provides this constant stream of, let's be honest, carefully curated portrayals of motherhood.
Curated is the word.
Baumgartner gives such clear examples. You see babies hitting milestones super early, or mothers who seem to be effortlessly whipping up these elaborate organic meals.
While looking flawless and running a side hustle.
Right. And it creates, as she puts it so well, this cycle of questioning.
Am I measuring up? Am I doing enough?
Exactly. That internal monologue kicks in.
Yeah. You're just scrolling through your feed, maybe late at night, exhausted.
Yeah.
And suddenly your own very normal, probably chaotic reality can feel, well, inadequate compared to this highlight reel.
Totally.
You see the spotless homes, the endless stream of enriching activities, and it's just incredibly easy to fall into that trap, comparing your behind-the-scenes mess with everyone else's polished public image. The reality, as Baumgartner points out, is that most people just don't have the bandwidth, right, to consistently keep up that level of perceived perfection.
Absolutely not. And it's so vital to remember the performative aspect of so much of what we see online.
Performative, yeah.
These are often just snapshots, carefully selected moments, not the full, messy, wonderful, difficult reality of daily life.
Right.
And this constant exposure with these idealized versions, it can create incredibly high, often totally unrealistic standards, which contribute significantly to feelings of pressure, guilt,
The guilt.
and obscures the shared struggles, the things that are almost universal in raising kids.
Which leads us right into this feeling that modern mothers are expected to, well, do it all.
The do-it-all myth.
Baumgartner really talks about the exhaustion that comes with trying to juggle baby care, maybe older kids too, meals, housework, a career, and somehow still find those like mythical moments for self-care.
Yeah. And that quote she includes from Dr. Harvey Karp is just so powerful.
Which one?
No woman has ever had to do as much on her own as the modern mother.
Wow. Okay. That hits hard.
It really does. Because it encapsulates the cumulative impact of everything we've been talking about.
The lack of support, the pressure.
The reduced traditional support, the pressure around endless choices, the unrealistic benchmarks set by social media, it all adds up to this immense, often unspoken burden of expectation.
Unspoken. Yeah.
And the Media Assist article rightly points out the crucial need to prioritize self-care amidst motherhood.
Easier said than done sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. But it's presented as a vital strategy for just coping with these demands. Even if it's just those tiny pockets of time Baumgartner mentions, like finding 10 minutes.
It almost feels like reclaiming even 10 minutes for yourself can be like a radical act sometimes, facing all these pressures.
It can feel that way.
So, okay, given this really complex picture, what are some practical approaches? How do you navigate modern motherhood? It's helpful that both our sources offer some, direction here.
Yeah, they do. Baumgartner offers a really grounded perspective, I think. She suggests this idea of prioritizing different parts of your life at different times
Okay.
and accepting that you simply cannot excel in every single area simultaneously. It's just not possible.
Right. Letting go of perfection.
Exactly. Her examples are so relatable, like a clean house, but hey, it's cereal for dinner tonight.
Getting there.
Or, a really nutritious home-cooked meal, but the house is kind of a disaster zone.
Yeah. Trade-offs.
Trade-offs. It's a powerful reminder to let go of that myth of constant perfection across the board.
I think that's such a liberating idea, honestly. Just focusing on what truly matters right now in this moment and giving yourself permission for other areas to just be good enough.
Good enough is often great, and the Media Assist article also gives some really concrete advice on how to manage it.
Like what?
Well, they emphasize acknowledging those feelings, the feelings stretched thin, overwhelmed. Don't just push them down.
Okay. Acknowledging it.
Focusing on time management? Sure. Through prioritizing, using organizational tools, whatever works for you.
Practical stuff.
Practical stuff. But also recognizing the valuable skills that motherhood inherently develops.
Oh, interesting. Like what?
Like incredible time management, multitasking like a pro, empathy.
Yeah.
These are skills, and they're absolutely transferable to a career.
That's a great point. We don't often frame it that way.
We should. What's also insightful in the media assist piece is the encouragement for mothers to actually communicate their career goals, their aspirations.
Don't just assume things have to stop or slow down.
Right, and explore flexible work arrangements. This acknowledges the reality that for many, professional life and family life are deeply intertwined.
Mm.
Finding ways to integrate them effectively is key.
Integration, not just balancing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they also make a vital point about focusing on the quality of time spent with children rather than just obsessing over the sheer quantity.
Being present.
Being present, engaged in those moments you do have together, that's what really counts.
And Baumgardner, she brings it back to that crucial element of community, doesn't she?
She does.
Advocating for less judgment and more genuine support among mothers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Celebrating each other's successes, even the small wins.
Instead of comparing or criticizing different choices.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That sense of collective support, that shared understanding of these unique challenges, that can be an incredibly powerful antidote to all the pressures we've discussed.
Okay, so to kind of bring it all together, we've really seen how modern motherhood presents this distinct set of challenges compared to previous generations.
Definitely distinct.
We're navigating, increased scrutiny over every single choice,
Mm-hmm.
often with a support system that's more spread out, less immediately available,
More fragmented, yeah.
all under the constant lens of social media, which can create these often completely unattainable ideals,
Mm-hmm.
leading to this pervasive feeling of needing to be all things to all people all the time.
It's a heavy load. And it's so important to hold on to Baumgartner's concluding thought, that really vital message of reassurance.
Which is,
You're doing a great job, Mama.
yeah, we probably all need to hear that more.
Absolutely. It's such a powerful reminder that striving for some externally defined, often unrealistic ideal of perfection, that's just not the goal. It shouldn't be.
Right. Okay. And on that thought, here's something maybe for you, the listener, to consider. Given these unique pressures we've explored today, how might we, as individuals, as communities, better adapt? Adapt our expectations, our structures, to truly support the realities of modern motherhood going forward?
That's a big question.
It is. What shifts, maybe big, maybe small, could actually make a tangible difference in the years to come? Something to think about.